Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a powerful story like this one. If you love rare coins, hidden treasures, and the thrill of discovering history in your hands, you are in the right place. Today, we are diving into a coin that carries the weight of history, power, and prestige, the 1948 South Africa silver 5 shillings. This is not just a piece of silver. This is a symbol of a nation at a turning point, a coin struck in a year that changed South Africa forever. The year 1948 was monumental for South Africa. It was the year the National Party came into power, marking the official beginning of apartheid. The country was shifting politically, socially, and economically. And in that same year, this remarkable 5 shillings coin was minted. When you hold this coin, you are not just holding silver. You are holding a silent witness to one of the most significant chapters in modern history. This coin was issued under the reign of King George VI. You will see the dignified portrait of George VI on the obverse side. His image represents South Africa's connection to the British Commonwealth during that period. The portrait is strong, detailed, and carries a sense of authority that reflects the global tensions of the post-World War II era. Turn the coin over, and you are greeted with a bold and commanding design featuring the South African coat of arms of that era. The springbok, a powerful national symbol, stands proudly. The Latin inscriptions and strong lettering give the coin a regal presence. It was not designed to be small or modest. This was a crown-sized coin, large and impressive, meant to be noticed. Now let's talk about what makes this coin so attractive to serious collectors, especially those of you who appreciate substantial, heavyweight silver coins. The 1948 5 shillings was struck in high-purity silver. It has that deep, rich shine that only vintage silver can produce. When light hits the surface just right, it reflects decades of preserved history. The weight feels solid in the palm of your hand. This is not a lightweight modern coin. It has presence. It has authority. For men in the 55 to 65 plus age group who understand value, legacy, and long-term appreciation, this coin represents more than metal. It represents endurance. Many of you remember a time when coins were made from precious metals, when money had intrinsic value. This 5 shillings piece takes you back to that era. But what truly separates the ordinary from the extraordinary is condition. Not every 1948 5 shillings coin is worth a fortune. Many circulated heavily. They were used in daily transactions. They passed through markets, businesses, and families. Over time, scratches, wear, and fading reduced their collectible appeal. However, when you find a 1948 South Africa silver 5 shillings coin in exceptional condition, sharp details, minimal wear, strong luster, that is when collectors take notice. High-grade examples, especially those preserved carefully for decades, can command serious respect in the numismatic world. Another factor that drives value is mintage numbers. Compared to some common circulation coins of the era, the 1948 issue is not endlessly abundant in top condition. Over nearly 8 decades, many were melted for their silver content, damaged, or lost. Survival rate in premium condition is what truly matters. Serious collectors also appreciate historical context. 1948 was not just another year. It was a political turning point. Coins minted in years of major historical change often carry additional emotional and historical appeal. They become conversation pieces. They become heirlooms. They become legacy items passed from father to son. When you sit with fellow collectors and place this coin on the table, it commands attention. The large crown size, the weight, the portrait of King George VI, the detailed reverse design. It speaks without words. It tells others that you understand history, metal, and the art of collecting. For investors who focus on tangible assets, vintage silver coins like this offer something modern digital investments cannot: physical ownership. You can hold it, store it, pass it down. There is no password required, no online platform, no digital risk. Just solid silver and history combined. Authentication is critical. Because of its growing popularity, Buyers must ensure they purchase from trusted sources or have the coin professionally graded. Certification from respected grading services increases trust and marketability. A graded high mint state example becomes even more desirable and often more liquid in the collector market. Many collectors in their retirement years shift toward legacy investments, items that hold both monetary and historical value. The 1948 South Africa 5 shillings fits perfectly into that category. It represents stability. It represents history. It represents silver at a time when coins had real substance. The emotional factor also plays a role. Perhaps you or someone in your family lived during that era. Perhaps you have a connection to Africa, to British Commonwealth history, or to post-war global events. Coins like this connect generations. They create stories around the dinner table. They spark conversations with grandchildren who are curious about old money. And here is what truly excites collectors. When an example surfaces in near-perfect condition, strong strike, mirror-like luster, minimal marks, competition increases. Auctions can become intense. Bidders understand rarity plus condition equals value. The market rewards quality. Now imagine discovering that a coin struck nearly 80 years ago, a coin representing a historic turning point in South Africa, preserved beautifully through time, could hold astonishing value today. This is why knowledge is power. This is why subscribing to this channel matters. Because when you understand what to look for, date, condition, authenticity, historical context, you are no longer just a casual observer. You become an informed collector. You become a strategic buyer. The 1948 South Africa silver 5 shillings is more than currency. It is a statement piece. It is history frozen in silver. It is a reminder of a world that was rebuilding after global war, a nation redefining itself, and a monetary system built on precious metal. And now, the moment you have been waiting for. In top tier, high-grade condition, a premium example of the 1948 South Africa silver 5 shillings has reached values as high as $9,500. Before we begin, take a second to subscribe to the channel and stay with me, because what you're about to hear may completely change how you look at old coins sitting quietly in drawers, boxes, or pockets of memory. Today I want to take you back to a time when money felt solid in the hand, when coins were made to last, and when history was pressed into metal. The coin we're talking about is small, often ignored, and underestimated by many. But for serious collectors, it carries weight far beyond its size. This is the 5-cent coin from South Africa, dated 1963. At first glance, it looks simple, ordinary even. But that's exactly how legendary stories begin. 1963 was not just another year. South Africa was going through deep political, economic, and cultural shifts. Coinage during this period was carefully controlled, and every design decision mattered. The 5-cent coin from this era reflects a nation in transition, balancing tradition and modern identity. For collectors, coins from transitional periods are always worth a closer look because they tend to hide surprises. This coin was struck at a time when minting standards were changing. The metal composition, the pressure used in striking, and even the dies themselves were part of a system that was being refined. That's important because subtle differences created during these changes are exactly what collectors hunt for today. A slightly sharper edge, a deeper strike, a misalignment you can barely see with the naked eye. These are not flaws to a collector. These are fingerprints of history. The 5-cent 1963 coin carries a design that speaks quietly but confidently. The lettering, the spacing, the relief, all of it reflects craftsmanship that is rarely appreciated anymore. Back then, coins were not just currency. They were symbols of stability, pride, and permanence. Many of these coins circulated heavily, passed from hand to hand, worn down by everyday life. That makes well-preserved examples incredibly rare. Now imagine a coin like this surviving decades without heavy wear. No deep scratches. No smoothing of details. Original luster still visible when light hits it just right. That's when a simple 5-cent coin stops being pocket change and starts becoming a serious collector's item. And condition is only part of the story. There are versions of this coin that were struck in limited numbers, either due to short production runs or changes made during the year. Some were pulled back, melted down, or simply lost to time. Others slipped through quietly, unnoticed for years. Those are the ones that make collectors lean forward in their chairs. Because rarity is not always announced. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. Seasoned collectors, especially men who've spent decades studying coins, know this truth well. Real value often whispers. It doesn't shout. A coin like the 1963 5 cents from South Africa challenges the idea that only gold or large silver coins matter. It proves that history, scarcity, and timing can turn the smallest denomination into something extraordinary. Yet there's also the emotional side of this coin. Many men remember a time when 5 cents actually meant something. When it bought a small treat, a newspaper, or was saved carefully by a child. Holding this coin today can bring back memories of fathers, grandfathers, first jobs, and simpler times. That emotional connection adds another layer of demand. Coins that tell personal stories are always more desirable than those that don't. Collectors in the 55 to 65 and older range understand patience. They understand long-term value. They know that the best pieces are not always the loudest or flashiest. This coin fits perfectly into that mindset. It rewards knowledge, experience, and the ability to see beyond face value. Over the years, interest in South African coins from the mid-20th century has grown steadily. As global collectors expand beyond the usual markets, coins like this are being reevaluated. What was once overlooked is now being re-examined under magnification, both literal and historical. And every time that happens, fewer coins remain available. Another factor that drives attention to this coin is the mystery surrounding certain specimens. Unusual strikes, rare metal variations, and undocumented production quirks have all been reported by longtime collectors. These are the kinds of stories that keep the market alive. The idea that one extraordinary example might still be out there, sitting quietly in a collection or inherited box, fuels endless fascination. This is not a coin for quick flippers or casual buyers. This is a coin for men who appreciate depth, for those who understand that real value is built over time. The 5 cents 1963 from South Africa stands as a reminder that history doesn't always come in large packages. Sometimes it fits right in the palm of your hand. Welcome back, collectors and enthusiasts. If you're passionate about rare coins, this one's going to blow your mind. But before we dive into today's topic, if you're new to the channel or haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss out on rare coin discoveries, tips, and valuable insights that could change the way you view your collection. Now, let's get into something that's sure to catch your attention. We're about to talk about a coin that's been quietly sitting in many collections, underappreciated and largely overlooked by the masses. But today, we'll shine a spotlight on it. What's even more exciting is that this coin could be sitting in your drawer right now, waiting to make you a lot more than just pocket change. Let's talk about the South African 5 cents coin from 1962, a coin that has quietly soared in value over the years. You may have come across this coin in your own collection, or maybe you've seen one floating around at a local antique shop or coin dealer. Either way, the South African 5 cents 1962 is a coin that you don't want to underestimate. This particular coin, minted in 1962, has a unique history and a level of scarcity that has made it one of the most sought-after coins among serious collectors and investors. At first glance, it might seem like just another small copper-nickel coin, but its value lies in the rarity, the condition, and the rich backstory behind it. The 5 cents 1962 coin is a small piece of history from South Africa, designed during a time when the country was undergoing significant change. The design, featuring a small kudu antelope on the reverse side, is not just a representation of wildlife, but also a symbol of South Africa's natural beauty. The kudu, known for its graceful horns and striking appearance, stands as a proud national symbol. But it's not just the design that sets this coin apart. In 1962, the South African Mint struck a limited number of these coins, meaning that not all of them made it to circulation or survived the passage of time. A combination of factors, including mismanagement, wear and tear, and simple bad luck, has meant that most of the 5 cents coins from this year didn't make it into the hands of collectors or investors. They were spent, lost, or destroyed, leaving only a limited supply of high-quality coins to be traded in the market. Now, you may be asking, what makes the 1962 5 cents coin so valuable? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. A coin like this, especially one in mint condition or with minimal wear, is incredibly rare and valuable. And as more collectors around the world become aware of its scarcity, the demand continues to climb. That if you happen to have one of these coins, or if you come across one in the future, you'll want to pay close attention to its condition. Coins that have been well preserved, free of scratches, dings, or discoloration, are the ones that fetch the highest prices. While a well-worn coin might still hold value due to its rarity, it's the coins in near mint or uncirculated condition that command top dollar. Now let's talk about how much you could potentially get for a coin like this. For a typical, circulated 5 cents 1962 coin, you might see values anywhere between a couple of dollars to a few hundred, depending on the condition. But, and here's the kicker, if you're lucky enough to find a coin in pristine or near mint condition, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Coins in this condition have been known to fetch anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000, and in some extreme cases, even higher, but don't take this lightly. The real beauty of collecting coins like the South African 5 cents 1962 is an understanding that values can fluctuate, especially in today's market. Rarity is key, and with fewer of these coins available each year, the demand for high-quality specimens will only increase. Collectors from all over the world are always on the lookout for coins that are not only rare, but also represent an era and history that's long past. The 1962 5 cents coin does just that. It tells the story of South Africa's journey through time, capturing a snapshot of its culture, its people, and its changing political landscape. What makes this coin even more intriguing is the number of misconceptions surrounding it. You might hear people say, "It's just another small coin," or "It doesn't look that special." But once you dig into the coin's history, the details behind its design, and the limited mintage of the 1962 issue, you start to realize that it's far from just another coin. The market for rare coins has been growing steadily over the last few decades. And as more people recognize the potential of numismatics as both a hobby and an investment, coins like the South African 5 cents 1962 have become sought after by more serious collectors, investors, and even financial institutions. So, why should you care about a coin like this? Because in the world of coin collecting and investment, the 1962 5 cents could be your ticket to a major return. And if you've got one sitting in your collection, you could be holding on to something worth far more than its original face value. Now, for the big reveal. Drumroll, please. The current value of a well-preserved South African 5 cents 1962 coin can be as high as $4,400. Yes, you heard that correctly. $400 for a coin that, back in the day, was worth only 5 cents. Isn't that incredible? But remember, the value isn't set in stone. It depends on the quality of the coin, the current market conditions, and how eager collectors are to add it to their collection. But even at the lower end, this coin is worth a lot more than most people realize. So, if you've got one of these coins tucked away somewhere, or if you come across one in the future, don't let it slip by unnoticed. You might just have a rare gem on your hands, one that could net you thousands of dollars. And that wraps up today's deep dive into the South African 5 cents 1962 coin. I hope this has sparked some interest in the coin and maybe even convinced you to take a closer look at your collection. Remember, coins aren't just a hobby. They're a piece of history, a potential investment, and, as we've seen, sometimes they're worth a whole lot more than you think. In the world of numismatics, where history is told through metal and rarity defines value, there are a few coins that transcend their monetary origin. These coins aren't just currency, they're stories frozen in time. One such story begins in the year 1964, in the heart of South Africa, a country steeped in cultural richness, political transformation, and untold history. That year, among millions of coins circulating in the nation, a 5-cent piece was minted that would, over time, become far more than just pocket change. It would become a legend. The 1964 South African 5-cent coin may seem ordinary at first glance. It's small, circular, forged in nickel, not gold, not silver, just humble nickel. But don't let its modest appearance fool you. This coin carries within it a deep historical significance and an artistic beauty that collectors and historians have come to admire over the decades. While millions were produced, only a handful survive in perfect, untouched condition. And those few are worth far more than anyone might imagine. On one side of this remarkable coin is the image of the blue crane, South Africa's national bird. With its elegant posture and long, graceful neck, the crane represents peace, beauty, and a connection to the land. The detail on the coin is striking. Every feather, every curve is etched with care. It's more than art. It's a tribute to the natural heritage of the country. To hold the coin is to hold a symbol of national pride, a reminder of nature's quiet dignity in a time of political unrest. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the year boldly marked, 1964. Around the rim are the words South Africa and Suid-Afrika, written in both English and Afrikaans, two of the country's official languages at the time. This bilingual design tells us more than just the name of the nation. It speaks to a complex, often divided society living through a time of great change. 1964 was no ordinary year in South Africa. It was a period of rising tension, strict apartheid laws, and the imprisonment of Nelson Mandela, a year that marked a turning point in the country's long journey toward freedom. And in the middle of all that, this small coin was minted, unnoticed by most. It passed through hands, pockets, counters, and drawers. It might have bought a loaf of bread, a bus ticket, or a child's toy. But over time, as years passed and coins were lost, melted, damaged, or forgotten, a few of these 5-cent pieces managed to survive. Not just survive, but remain in mint condition, untouched by time, uncirculated, unspoiled. These coins became treasures. What makes a coin like this valuable isn't just age. It's condition, rarity, demand, and the story it tells. A coin in poor shape might be worth no more than its metal. But one of these 1964 5-cent pieces, flawless and preserved, becomes something entirely different. It becomes a collector's dream, a link to a moment in history, a unique piece that can never be replicated. Across the world, coin collectors seek out pieces like this. They hunt through old collections, attend auctions, follow rumors, and pay close attention to any hint of rarity. And when a coin like the 1964 5 cents appears, in pristine, untouched condition, it sparks global interest. Bidding wars begin. Prices soar. And what was once worth just a few cents becomes a treasure beyond most people's imagination. Over the past few years, the value of historical African coins has seen a dramatic rise. As collectors look beyond Europe and America, coins from nations like South Africa have surged in popularity. And among them, the 1964 5 cents stands out, not only for its story, but for its scarcity and top condition. Many have been lost, but the few that remain perfect are now priceless. People often wonder how such an unassuming coin could fetch such a high price. The truth is, it's not just about the metal. It's about history, condition, symbolism, and scarcity. It's about owning something that very few others can, something that connects you directly to the past. When all of that comes together in a single item, the value skyrockets. Today, this coin is more than just a collector's piece. It's a cultural artifact, a preserved piece of African heritage, and a rare example of craftsmanship during a pivotal moment in time. For the serious collector, Owning such a piece is like owning a time machine, a small, circular passport to another era. And for those lucky enough to find one, especially in mint state, the value is almost beyond belief. That's why. Today, this seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin from 1964, if found in flawless condition, can command a staggering price, a jaw-dropping $10 million.